And now, please welcome the No Bull Podcast.
No Bull, no Scotty, no Pippen, no Michael, no Jordan, no Bull. No Bull, yeah, no Bull.
Hi, this is Chuck Swirsky, and you're listening to No Bull AUK, Chicago Bulls podcast.
What's happening, people, and welcome back to another episode of No Bull, a UK Chicago Bulls podcast with me, Jimmy, from UK Chicago Bulls. As always, it's been a bit of a while in the off-season. I did say they were going to be as and when. My last guest, I believe, was Matt Peck, which was a few weeks back now. I've enjoyed a bit of a break, a little holiday, a little bit of me time, ready to start the grind again in, just over a month's time. Can't wait. This off-season seems like it's been forever. So yeah, the podcast will be coming back a bit more regularly, hopefully, and coming into the start of the season. And I've got some new content coming as well, which I'm really excited to share with you. Hopefully that takes off. But let's get into today. I'm really excited for my guest today. He got in touch with me very, very kindly, actually, offering to send me something really cool, completely out of the blue. It's really awesome of him. And we got chatting, and I invited him on the pod. He was happy to come on, and I'm buzzing to have him. Rio, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm very well. So it's Rio Ramirez, right?
Yeah, so my name's Mario, but nickname.
Mario, yeah.
Rio.
Okay, cool. I was meant to check you with that before we started the record, so my bad. I kind of went in a bit confidently there, hoping for the best. So yeah, Mario Ramirez, Rio. How you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good, staying busy, living the life,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you taking your time to do this. I know you've been crazy busy at the moment, so I do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry, I didn't forget about that bobblehead. I just haven't gone home yet.
It's all
still
good.
in my room.
It's all good,
I'm
man.
going to go back home.
It's all good. I appreciate it. Whether you send it or not, just the thought was enough. I appreciate it. So, yeah, thank you. Rio you're from Chicago, right? Born and bred?
Yep.
A true Chicagoan.
Yep. Love all the sports here.
Massive Bulls fan, diehard Bulls fan.
Yeah. Started, when D Rose got drafted. Maybe I
Okay.
was that 2000? Yeah, I was maybe 7 or 8 when he got drafted.
That makes me feel old.
It makes me feel old. Let me tell you, I'm only 19 years old. So yeah, I used to be. Well, my parents were season ticket holders back then as well when D Rose was, in his prime, and then Jimmy Butler came along, and then my love for them really grew when I met Jimmy Butler at the Mariano's. It's a grocery store that's around the corner from my house back home.
Oh, wow.
For an opening, and I met him there. I have a bunch of autographed stuff from him, and ever since then, I just love the Bulls, and obviously I played basketball, so love basketball even more. So it's just a great thing for me to escape reality,
100%. I get that. That's exactly why I do all this sort of stuff, to escape the real life stresses, right? That's awesome. You met Jimmy Butler. I had no idea.
Yeah.
How was he?
I did. Very quiet. He was just coming into the league. He had his short hair, so not the way you see him now, but yeah, he was very quiet.
Wow, that's awesome. I guess because of that, you must have a massive soft spot for Jimmy, right? Even now.
I do. He's my favorite player, forever will be. I have his jerseys, have a bunch of autograph stuff, like I said. I actually went to a Dwayne Wade camp when I was maybe 7th grade, and Jimmy Butler was one of the guests. I actually got a picture next to Dwayne Wade. So I should have sent that in before I hopped onto this podcast so we could have shown it. But yeah, I've had my fair share of Bulls players, man.
Oh wow. Okay, well send me that afterwards, and we can get that on the post on Twitter as well. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, I love Jimmy Butler. he was. I don't know if you know my story. I'm like a 90s kid, so hence why
Mhm.
I'm a Bulls fan, right? Michael Jordan, all that era.
Yeah.
I stopped following the game, and I didn't get back into it until like my first year back was Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and Rajon Rondo. So
Uh-huh.
I will always, like yourself, I will always love Jimmy Butler because it kind of was my first season back into following it. But also, I think, how can you not, right?
Hmm.
He just comes across as that fun guy. He doesn't seem like he takes himself too seriously off the court, and yeah,
Yeah.
he's always having fun. So you can't. I don't think you can't not love him personally. And I know many Bulls fans still do really
Yeah.
like him, but
Yeah, like you said, outside of basketball, like I don't know if you saw it, but the video of the US Open where he was running out all jolly. He got to play a little tennis, like, it's just the stuff like that that makes him such a great person and great player. That's why I love him so much. Just my
yeah,
favorite.
he's just a fun dude, and he
Yeah.
leaves it all on the court as well, doesn't he? When he plays, I
Oh,
mean, I
yeah.
think he's the big reason. Obviously, Miami got to the finals again last year. I was actually quite gutted for him that they didn't win it.
Yeah.
I think Nikola Jokic absolutely and the Denver Nuggets deserved it. Of course they did. They were the
100%.
best team by an absolute mile, especially when the playoffs at least. And yeah, the better team won. But of course, you got to be gutted for Jimmy. Hopefully, I say hopefully his time will come, but I don't want it to really. Not in Miami anyway. If he
Yeah,
come
well,
back to the Bulls, but
maybe if Damian Lillard goes over there, maybe it might
yeah,
help him
that's a
out a little bit.
strange one. Recent news has broke that allegedly, I forget the reporter now come out and said that Damian Lillard, he believes Damian Lillard will refuse to show up to training camp, and if he's not traded to Miami.
Hmm.
But that's not come out of Damian Lillard's mouth, so
Yeah.
that was really like misquoted. Excuse me. That was really misquoted from whoever reported it, and I know a lot of
Yeah.
people got a bit high rate about that. But yeah, I don't believe that's come from Dame Lillard's mouth or his agent or anyone inside. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. Do you think he's going to go to Miami?
Um, I know I just saw something the other day that they resumed their trade talks. I mean, I think it's going to take a lot. I think he probably will go because of just how much he does want to go. And I think the Trailblazers will honor that. I mean, considering what he's done for that organization. But still, I don't think like it's the way that things should be done. But, what can you say? That's how the league is now.
Do you know, I'm quite ruthless because I think if Portland don't get what they want for him, they should absolutely not trade him. And if he doesn't want to play, fine, go and just sit on the bench. Absolutely, just
Yeah.
don't play basketball for a year. If I'm the GM, I'm not trading him for the sake of it. Absolutely not. I know, I get he's been loyal up until this point, but it's still a business, and
Mhm.
if he loved Portland like he says he does, and all this loyalty towards Portland, I don't think he should be acting the way that he currently is. But listen, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Like you just said, the way things are now, players have got a lot more control, and I get it. I get why they want that, and they're very well paid now and everything else. But that's just not how the NBA has historically worked. So
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. It's a bit frustrating to see it now, but hey ho. Anyway, you obviously touched on it earlier. Said about you were at the Dwayne Wade camp, etc. You do play basketball at quite a decent level,
I do. Yeah, I play.
at college level, right?
Yep.
And remind me who that's for.
Dominican University.
In Illinois, right?
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm close. That's why I made it to some Bulls games last year. But yeah, I play here right now. Last year I caught COVID.
Oh
So
wow.
I messed up my lungs pretty bad. I wasn't able to return that season, so I was out the whole season.
Oh man.
So getting back into the season tickets, that's why I was able to go to a lot of games because I couldn't play. So this season, probably not going to do it again because I'm actually going to be able to play. I'll have a busy schedule. Don't know how many games I'll make, but I'm obviously still going to watch them.
Of
I didn't miss
course.
a game last year, so I'm gonna keep that streak going.
Awesome. That's awesome. So you said you were season ticket obviously last year. How many games did you get to last year?
If I had to take a guess, I would say probably like about 40 or 50 I went to.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I went to a few out of state, so that's where the 50 comes from, because 40,
Home. Yeah.
what's it called, at home, 40 out. Yeah. So I'm big on it. I'm big on my Bulls.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, I did 3 last year. That's awesome. I am so jealous of. I think Matt Peck from the CHGO podcast, he kind of hit the nail on the head when, obviously, when you live in Chicago or just outside, it's there, right? You can go to as many games as you can afford to go to, or as your work or life would allow you to go to.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like anything in life, right? When it's on your doorstep, you kind of take it a bit for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, when I see people on Twitter going to the games, I get so jealous, and I'm sat here at like 1 o'clock in the morning on my sofa on my own, just watching the game. I'm in my living room, and it's just like, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, that's great, but what I would give to be there a lot more, man. Obviously, I was lucky enough to be at 3 games last year
Mhm.
when I come over. That was awesome, and I can't wait to get back. I honestly can't. I miss Chicago in general, like massively. I've only been once, but I love the place. It sounds crazy. I
Yeah.
fell in love with it. It's such an awesome place.
It is. Yeah.
Such an awesome place. So did you do like the Windy City games or anything like that as well? Obviously, if you're going to that many Bulls games, you probably don't really get a chance, I guess.
No, yeah, I didn't go to any Windy City Bulls games. Honestly, like I don't really keep up with the G League. Um, I feel like I should more, because there's people that are down there that could come up and I wouldn't know. But um, obviously, like I paid a little bit of attention to it because Marco back and forth. Um, who else was going back and forth? Carly Jones was going back and
Malik.
forth. So yeah, that's the only way I pretty much paid attention to it, and seeing what they did in the G League. But that's really it.
Dalen Terry, of course, as well, was backwards and forwards
Uh-huh.
quite a bit last season. It's tough, isn't it? There's like you say, just the Bulls alone. You've got 82 regular season games, so it's tough to follow more than that. And
Yeah,
I mean, especially for yourself playing as well, and even if you weren't playing, I guess you were still supporting your team, right?
yeah, I was. Yeah,
What position do you play?
I'm a shooting guard.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm 6'4", can shoot the ball. So that's what they got me over there for.
can shoot the ball. Bulls, sign him up. He can shoot. We need some. Speaking of shooting, how do you feel on the additions? Obviously, Javon Carter and Torrey Craig. Obviously, 2 solid shooters. Are you happy with that?
Um, I was, but I also don't think I'm a big Kobe White fan, big
Okay.
Patrick Williams fan. So I think those additions will help off the bench, but I still think that Kobe and Patrick still deserve to start. I know there's a lot of controversy, like Javon Carter should start, Torrey Craig should start, but I saw a lot of flashes from Patrick Williams last year and Kobe White, both defensively and offensively. I just feel like Patrick Williams needs more of that confidence. Honestly, he has it there, going to dunk on people. I didn't see that the year before. Kobe White hitting big shots and sticking up the people defensively, like just big improvements from the year before, and I'm excited to see how that pans out this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to disagree with what you said. I mean, Patrick Williams, anyway, I think we all want him. We've all seen flashes of the player he can be. So I'm not against Patrick Williams starting at all. I'm also not against Torrey Craig starting, to be honest. And Patrick Williams coming off the bench like he did back at college. Um, Kobe White, I am so split because I say this time and time again on this podcast, but this time last year, I was kind of out on Kobe White. I
Mm-hmm.
just thought he's not going to become the player we want him to be in Chicago. I know he worked hard, maybe elsewhere it might work for him. And I'm happy to say I was completely wrong because he was unbelievable last year.
Uh-huh.
I still wouldn't have said he was a point guard. I would have put him more at the 2 guard. But again, he showed flashes that he can play the point, especially against Toronto in that playing game. Oh man, yeah, I'm so split because personally, I think I would start Javon Carter
Hmm.
and have Kobe coming off the bench, and I don't know. I'm glad I'm not the coach. To put it that way. I really don't know. I actually think Javon Carter's going to be huge. I think he's going to be a big fan favorite. I think he's going to demand the ball as well from Zach and Demar. Hopefully, I get that that's kind of his personality. I believe. Whereas I think Kobe's a bit more. What's the word? You know, Zach and Demar are his seniors, right? So he's a little bit quieter, I guess. He's not going to demand quite so much from them. Whereas I think that won't bother Javon Carter. And I could be wrong, but I'm hoping he's going to take the ball away from them and
Hmm.
take charge. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's where Lonzo comes in, man, and it was just so brutal seeing what happened because he ran that offense perfectly. I mean, the Bulls' offense was I thought it was one of the best when they were all together, and then all that happened, and then we dropped to sixth seed like it was nothing in the matter of a second, and hopefully, like you said, if Javon has that personality, hopefully he can do that. Um, I could definitely see that as well because of our defense.
Mm.
Um, if you put Kobe White in there, your best defender is Patrick Williams, But if you have Javon Carter, you have Patrick Williams, they can both score, but they can also both play defense. And then maybe, you put a scorer in Kobe White off the bench with Alex Caruso. So that's the way I can see it split. But I don't know. I think I just still feel like Kobe deserves it. He's been working towards it. And, also Io. I'm just interested to see where he's gonna fit in, honestly. I really had big hopes for him. He was so good his rookie season. Last year, he kind of like regressed a little bit, but I'm not gonna hold that over his head because he's still young, and I still think he has unlimited potential. So I just want to see, I'm interested to see how everything pans out. It's gonna be an interesting season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I am quietly confident about coming into this season. Of course, that could all change by the end of November, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm with you with Io as well, man. I'm rooting for him so hard because he's another one, right, that showed flashes of what he can do, and it's in there. There's a
Mhm.
good, very good player in there. Like you say, he just last season he did kind of drop off a little bit. When that's the year he should push on a bit, but does he get minutes from Billy Donovan? This is
That's the question.
this is the problem. I mean, we spoke about it with I think with Matt and Neil on the C Red UK podcast episode as well a few weeks back. There's so many players that really they're not going to get a look in my opinion, and I hope that Io is not one of them. I really, really do because
Yeah.
I think it could massively affect him going forward, and I think he's another one of these players that if they were to trade him at some point. I don't believe they will, but maybe this time next year if they look to trade him or what have you, I think he will go on to be a really, really solid player. And I think that would be a big, big regret if something like that happened because he didn't get a chance. Billy Donovan's frustrating at times, right, for not giving players a chance.
Yeah. Um, some of the things he does is definitely questionable. I had my moments with Billy Donovan last year where I was like, "What are you doing?" Um, I, what game was it? It might have been Miami where we lost, where he had a substitution, and I was like,
Kobe White. They took
exactly.
Kobe
I'm
off
like,
for Patrick Beverly.
like, what are you doing? I love Patrick Beverly. Don't get me wrong, but Kobe White was having a game,
He was red hot in that game.
and you don't take that out.
No,
It's a momentum thing. So I had a lot of those moments.
I'm I'm a little bit surprised that Kobe stayed after that. I'm glad he did, but I'm a little bit surprised he did and didn't go and explore his other options because that's got to be so disheartening, right? Like you say, he was having the game of his life. Like that was the Kobe that we want to see, right? Next season, every game. Yeah, oh man, I hold my hands up, right? I don't know basketball like yourself and so many others do. I'm just a massive fan. I just love the balls, right? And there's still some things that happen. I don't really understand what the hell's going on. And when someone explains it, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I'm not going to claim to be an expert by any stretch of the imagination. But when Billy took Kobe out of that game, I was furious. Like I was Phil Jackson, right? I just like I could not for the life. Someone tried to tell me why, and it was the right thing to do because player going to drop off a cliff after that point. Except no one can convince me that that was the right move. Nobody. You could sit me in a room with Billy Donovan for 3 hours, and I still wouldn't believe a word that come out of his mouth for why he made that decision. It was idiotic, in my opinion. And I do think it cost us a spot in the playoffs. And listen, I'm not saying we would have gone on and made it to the finals like Miami did. I don't think we would have. But it was a massive, massive error. And it was a terrible way to end the season. Terrible. Would you have got rid of him?
Would I have gotten rid of Billy? I would have, but knowing how the organization is, I wouldn't keep my hopes up on it. But you know, like just a mistake like that, when it costs you playoffs like that, it's a hard pill to swallow, you know, because as we said, Kobe was playing the game of his life, and I play basketball obviously, so I know when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. It doesn't matter if you're an offensive player, defensive player. When you're feeling it, you're going to play both sides of the ball because your confidence is up here. So I don't care if Kobe couldn't play defense. He was shooting the ball. So you know he's going to give his effort because he's feeling it. And, you know, Patrick Beverley is going to give 100% every time. But Kobe White was 110% that game. And I still can't believe that game to this day because we were winning that game and we blew it.
From one stupid decision.
One decision can cost you the whole game.
And listen, you know, maybe Kobe stays on and Miami still come back and win the game. We'll never know. But yeah, it's still heartbreaking. Just even so long on, it's, you know, the offseason didn't need to be this long, did it?
No, not at all. I'm ready, but it's coming by pretty fast. It's coming.
We're nearly there, man. We're nearly there. You know, just a few weeks out from, well, was it 2, 3? No, where are we? Like 4 weeks from preseason, I believe. 4 or 5 weeks from preseason. Yeah, man. It can't come quick enough. It really can't. I'm happy to have to sleep back from over here, but just give me the lack of sleep, man. I need balls basketball back in my life. I really do. The British Basketball League starts, I think, this weekend, and every year I say I'm going to get into that a bit more and follow that a bit more, and I never do. So maybe this year's the time to give that a bit more of a go. That's a bit easier to follow because there's a lot less games. They play like every weekend as opposed to like 4 or 5 times a week. So it's a bit easier to follow. So maybe this is the year I get into British basketball, which is called the BBL, which a lot of people find hilarious, especially guys from the States.
Yeah.
So I know you're a massive Zach LaVine fan, right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna die on Zach LaVine Island, right?
Yeah.
How I love Zach, but I've got a love-hate relationship with Zach. And we've got our own little all the team's fan accounts from the UK are sort of in a group on Twitter, and it's what goes in that group stays in that group. And quite often I have to have a rant about Zach LaVine, a bad rant, and I do it in that group because that's a safe spot, right? And so they all think I hate Zach, and there are nights when I really do because I think, what the hell are you doing, right? He's the most frustrating player in the world. But then I love him at the same time. And sometimes I do put negative tweets out in the moment if I'm watching the game live because his decision making just frustrates the hell out of me. It was better last season, I think. He made. Who am I to say you're making the right or wrong play, right? I'm just an English kid who barely knows the game. Let's be honest, right? I couldn't coach a game or anything like that. So, but when some of his decision making is just shocking. He'll go up for a shot that he doesn't need to take, and I'll be screaming, "What the hell are you doing?" And the shot drops, and then I jump out of my seat and I'm cheering. That basically sums up Zach LaVine for me.
Yeah.
Do you ever get frustrated? I know you love him. Do you ever get frustrated with him?
Of course. Yeah. I man. I just have no words for it. The way he has me reacting sometimes is like you said, what the hell are you doing? But I will die on the hill that max contract was a good contract, because you see these contracts that are being given out right now, and you're like, wow, I think I got some good value based on what these people
Jaylen
are.
Brown.
Yeah, and he can't even dribble with his left hand. So I mean, like, we got good value, and I'll always love Zach LaVine. But I feel like obviously people think it's DeMar's team. And rightfully so. He is a killer. But when you make that type of money, I feel like that can get into your head when you're not the number one guy. And I more so have like a lot of what the hell moments with DeMar DeRozan, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, because he gets the ball on a lot of clutch time shots, and a lot of the times, but two of those times he hit the game winner. A lot of those times he's just dribbling up on the top of the key behind the 3-point line for the whole 5-6 seconds, whatever's left, to take a shot behind the 3-point line, and he's not known to be a 3-point shooter. We know he can get to his mid-range spots. So those are the moments where I'm like, what the hell? Like, if you're gonna shoot a three, I feel like we should give it to Zach LaVine.
I agree.
But then the one moment we give it to Zach LaVine, he goes for a two. I will never forget that moment as well. And I have a group chat with two of my uncles, and they don't like Zach LaVine at all. But that moment, I could not defend him, because I was like, you did not just do that.
I'm glad you said that, because I remember that game. I forget who it was against now. And I believe we were 3 points down, right? We needed a three to take it to overtime. And he had the chance to shoot. I mean, it wasn't an open shot, don't get me wrong. It was a contested three. But Zach's made them hundreds of times, right? That's no problem. That was one of the most questionable decisions I think I've ever seen him make. And there's been a few. But he said he was trying to draw the foul or something, right?
Yeah, but with the way refs called things, I can't bet on that anymore.
Mate, he gets knocked out and he doesn't get called for a foul. That's one frustrating thing.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get foul calls. You see the lights of Dame Lillard, Jimmy Butler, all those guys get them. Zach doesn't get them. That's frustrating. But I don't know. Yeah, more of a reason not to go for that play. That was mind-boggling. Yeah. At least you didn't try to defend him.
Yeah.
Are you aware of Ramirez on Twitter?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she's Mrs. Zach LaVine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's defending Zach harder, you or Ramirez?
Her. She's got it. She's got it. She's definitely got it. Because I'm telling you, I have my moments where I cannot believe what he's doing, and I will get so mad that I'm like, why do I defend him? But I still do. But she's got it for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I fear she would have actually come for you had you had said yourself.
Yeah, no, I've seen the way she defends Zach, and it's definitely her.
Ramirez is one of the reasons I keep my when I get really frustrated and say things that I probably can't say out in on publicly on Twitter, I put them in the group chat. Ramina's one of the main reasons because I don't want to upset her. I have no doubt she would fly over to the UK and hunt me down if I said something too harsh on Zach.
Yeah, I have no doubt about it.
But yeah, no, she's awesome. Shout out Ramina. Yeah, I met her in Chicago. She's an awesome person. Awesome person. So let's talk about this season. Obviously, you just said you're not getting season tickets this year because you hopefully, fingers crossed, if health and stuff, you're going to be playing a lot more. What's your prediction coming into this season?
I'm always conflicted on that question because obviously there's a lot of factors that go into that. I want to be generous and say like 6th through 8th seed, but after what I saw last year, I don't feel like the team has changed that much. Honestly, I mean, 2 additions, and then you got that guy who's coming overseas. I haven't really seen what he can do, but yeah, I'm going 6th through 8th to be generous, but if I want to be realistic, I'm going 8th through 10.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it all depends on who the starting point guard is. Someone who's going to run the offense because I find that we are in too much ISO ball a lot of the times. Just isolation, one-on-one. We don't move the ball. We don't get Vooch involved. When that dude gets involved, he's a killer and it opens up the whole offense.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons that I was mad with Billy too, because how can you not make that adjustment? When he got the ball, we were winning games. And it really just all depends on who's running that offense. So yeah, I'll say 6th through 8th if someone's running the offense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Vooch. Stacey King says it's a simple game, and it
Yeah.
really was. It really is when they play through Vooch. We all know that Zach and DeMar like to be the hero. And listen, I've told you about my relationship with Zach. It's a very much love-hate. I love DeMar. I absolutely love DeMar DeRozan. And don't get me wrong, he frustrates me at times. Times you just hit on. But yeah, I do love that guy. But they need to let their egos go this year. I mean, Vooch has said himself, right, when he was at the World Cup, the FIBA World Cup with Montenegro, this is like the last chance for those three, right? If it doesn't work this year, they have to blow it up. They can't extend the mile, whether they sign and trade him, what have you. But this big three, if you like, cannot go into next season if they're in the play-in, in my opinion, and they don't make a big playoff run. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Play through Vooch, but everyone, I can see that.
Yeah.
A man who doesn't know it. I couldn't coach a kids basketball team, right? And I can see that playing through Vooch is winning basketball. It's pretty simple. If it's idiot proof, if an idiot like me can see it, then why the hell can't Billy Donovan see it? He just, I don't know, he frustrates the hell out of me, man. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I think he's a really good coach, but he does so many questionable things that are just so frustrating. Will Perdue hit recently on the Balls Talk podcast about Vooch demanding the ball and playing more, as literally just playing through Vooch as your main priority. And I think that has to be. I get Zach's not going to like that, right? DeMar's not going to like that because these guys have got massive egos. That's why they are where they are. But everyone's saying it. It was so clear last season, so it has to, going into this season, they have to do that. I don't know, man. I'll get so frustrated with it. I think Zach and DeMar seriously need to let their egos go going into this season. They can still be as effective. They can still be all-stars, the pair of them.
Mm-hmm.
We just play through Vooch.
And like the ego thing, I mean, I think that's the reason that they don't. And that's the reason Billy doesn't do anything, because he's a player's coach. So he's not going to say anything to his best players. And Vooch, I mean, he seems like a quiet guy. I don't think he's gonna say anything himself either. But I mean, Zach really needs to drop it, in my opinion, because I think he's one of the best catch and shooters in the league. Like Stacey King says all the
100%.
time. He says it all the time. He's one of the best. Every time he catches that ball and he shoots it, that's going in. Like you can
Money.
still get your points. I mean, DeMar, he's a little bit more of a one-on-one player, but I feel like when they aren't running through Vooch, his one-on-ones get a bit excessive.
Mm.
So, um, obviously the ISO is fine. DeMar's going to get to his spot and he's going to hit a mid-range regardless. But I think Vooch needs to get more involved in the offense and, his post-ups, his three-point shooting, so he can really space out the floor and space out the defense. So if he does all that, I mean, we have shooting now. We'll see. It's a big question mark, but we can win games if he spaces out the floor and we can shoot the ball. It's simple.
Yeah, I think he has to be more aggressive. Like you just said, he's naturally quite a quiet person, right? But we've seen him rear up at refs. So rear up at your teammates. Like, get
Yeah.
angry, be more demanding. I do think Javon Carter will help with that. And I'm hoping that he's gonna push so the ball goes through Vooch a bit more. I honestly think he's gonna, and this may be so wrong, and I may look like an idiot in a few months' time, but I am holding out a lot of hope that Javon Carter is going to change a lot of the mentality, and I think he's that kind of person to not be afraid to stand up and tell Zach and tell DeMar and tell Vooch to sort of find a bit more aggression, if you like. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I'm holding out a
Yeah.
lot of hope on Javon Carter.
I mean, that's what Patrick Beverly did. He came in,
Mm,
we started winning games. He was just an offensive liability. That was the only problem. He did everything else. Leader, vocal, defense. So if he can be like that, it can definitely work because he can shoot the ball. I
mm.
mean, Patrick Beverly was really streaky, but Javon Carter is consistent. So if, like you said, if he will do what he has to do, I we can be in a good spot.
Yeah, I hope so. I really, really do. And the guys, like I said before, the Bucks fans, Sean, who runs UK Bucks, has said that we are going to love Javon Carter. He's going to be a real fan's favourite. And being a Chicagoan as well, I think that massively helps his cause before he's even stepped on the court. Chicago are going to get behind him, aren't they? They love a Chicago kid. So I guess the big question is, does Tim Clare announce from Chicago?
That is the question. His high school is actually 5 minutes away from my school right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm close to it. So I drive past it every time I come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
They obviously love him there, I guess.
maybe I'll see him around someday.
That'll be pretty cool. He seems like I mean, he was on the CHGO podcast with Matt, Will, and Dave when they were doing Balls Fest, and he seems like quite a say it how it is guy. I mean, they asked him about when Chicago come calling, was that it? Was that there was no other options, right? As soon as Chicago called you, you take the. And he kind of said no. He said he obviously a Chicago kid. He wants to play for the Bulls. But he said it's a business. He said if a better offer had come, I may have looked that way. He said, but the Bulls offered the best offer he had, or what have you. So, but I like that. I like that honesty, and he, like I said with Matt Peck, it's not just lip service with him. He says it how it is.
Mhm.
But I respect that, and hopefully it's that translates on the court as well, and he tells the guys how it is, and doesn't just give them lip service.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they need it for sure.
Well, yeah, we don't need anybody kissing up to anybody. And that's their problem. No one's gonna say anything. So they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing. Adjustments aren't gonna be made, and that's why we lost games.
Yeah,
And a big part of that was also rebounding. If we're not rebounding, you need to hold somebody accountable to box out. Go get the rebound. So I mean, it's just a lot of things that are gonna go into this season that have big question marks next to it, and only time will tell how the season's gonna play out.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Just to touch on an area, you weren't overly impressed, you said, with what AK and Mark did in the off season. Obviously their hands were tied within reason. Would you have made a trade, like a big trade? We're talking like obviously, I guess you wouldn't have traded Zach. So would you have traded Demar?
Yeah, I was a part of that group that wanted to trade him for the third pick.
Okay.
So whatever that package would have been. And the only reason I said that is because DeMar is gonna want a good amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for what was it, 3 years maybe? I think it might have been 3 years, 100 something mil extension. Um, I feel like his game could translate to when he's older because he's not really, he's not quick. It's
Yeah.
just a lot of finesse. But for me, I just paying that much money for someone who's obviously getting older, I just wasn't on board with it. So that's why I wanted the third pick, maybe get somebody young, you know, who went third. Was a Scoop. Yeah, it was Scoop.
Scoot. Yeah.
You know, he was looking good. Obviously, he's a killer as well. But and also like for Damian Lillard wanting to win now, I felt like that could be a good piece for them to,
Mm.
maybe win some more games. So I thought it worked on both sides, but he's still here, so we're gonna roll with it and hope for the best.
I mean, trades could still be made, right?
Yeah,
So I don't think they will,
I
but
don't think they'll do it. Yeah, I
I
think
know
they made
Zach
a
keeps
point.
coming up in trade talks. I don't see it happening. I think it would have
No.
happened by now, to be truthful. I don't think
Mm.
they're leaving it this late. If they do, I mean, it's a risky game to play. I mean, I'm happy with going into this season with what we got. Personally, I'm optimistic. Sometimes I'm too optimistic. I don't think. I think I do look like an idiot at the end of the season. I mean, you said the 6th to 8th seed is your prediction. That's my prediction as well. I don't think we're any higher than the 6th. I think that's unrealistic. I think the teams around us have got better. I think
Mhm.
the East is so tough now as well. When you actually look at the teams and how they've improved over the past year, it's really, really difficult to see the Bulls above 5 teams.
Yeah,
I think, oh man, it is depressing to say that like it's probably gonna be a play-in again. I would say realistically, you're probably right, but that's depressing as hell.
it is, but if you stay disappointed, you won't be disappointed when the time comes. So
That's
I'm gonna
depressing too, man.
I'm gonna save myself from that. I always watch the games with my dad, and um, he's never impressed. He's a big Jordan guy. He's a big, like the way the game was back then. He hates all this offense bull crap. He hates all the fouls, how soft it is.
Yeah, I'm with
So
him.
he's never really, optimistic about the way the Bulls are playing. So I'll just take a lesson out of his book and go into that this year. But I'm still gonna be optimistic for sure, but just a little less.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with your dad. It's been a long, long time, and yeah, it is painful to watch how soft the game is. And listen, I get they've got to protect the players, right? I understand that, but sometimes some of these calls, man, it's just
Yeah.
it's frustrating to watch. But yeah, I guess we'll see how see where we are come April time. But oh man, if we're fighting for a playing spot again, they're going to have to seriously shake it up next off season for sure. They're going to have to.
Oh yeah. My theory was like if they don't like the way they start, maybe they start trading by the trade deadline in the middle of the season. But I don't know if they would want to play out a full season again, but I hope it's good enough to where it keeps me sane because I'm also dealing with the Chicago Bears right now.
Of
Um,
course.
and they just got whooped by a rival. So you know, I can't do a double whammy on that. It's gonna be rough.
So yeah, touching on the Bears again, this is another thing. Every year I say, do you know what? I'm going to start following that because I've never followed the NFL at all. I don't understand it in any way, shape, or form. And last year I looked at getting into it, and I just didn't have time. And I mean, I like all sports, right? So it's so time consuming. But if I get into something with football or soccer, if you like, I know exactly what's what. I can follow that quite loosely and still understand what's going on. Whereas with something like the NFL, I think I would have to go in 100% committed. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand what the hell was going on. So I've
Mhm.
never got into it. And this year, especially with the off season so long as it was, and then so much hype on the Bears, right? With Justin Fields and stuff coming in, and all the Bears fans for the first season for a long time seemed like it was going to be a positive season. So, oh, maybe this is the year. And I've got like 2 Bears jerseys. I've got I've bought into Chicago massively, and I thought I might get into it this year. And I very, very nearly watched a game Sunday night, and I'm so glad I didn't because I was just on Twitter. Me and my
Yeah,
other half were watching something on telly, and I was just on Twitter like, "Oh my god!" It's like this is worse than last year, right? This is like going back 3 years when
it was
things were,
horrible.
yeah.
So I was actually there, and
Oh,
I got my heart ripped out. It was just so painful to watch, and the problem is, I'm going to Florida to go see them play this weekend.
oh no!
Oh, I'm like, if this
Is that
happens,
against the Dolphins?
it's against Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa Bay. Okay.
Yeah, so if I see this happen again, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I keep doing this to myself, but they can't keep doing this to me.
I don't know how Tampa Bay got on. I know the Dolphins won because Dan Healy, who runs the Miami Heat UK account, is banging to his Miami sports, and he tweeted about the Dolphins won or something, and he loves Tua. I know who that is because obviously he got injured, didn't he? But yeah, I don't. That my NFL knowledge is non-existent, to be truthful with you. All I know is Bears fans are crazy. That's all I know. I love
We
them.
want to win. We want to win bad.
Yeah, everything was so positive when they got the number 1 pick and they made a trade, and everyone was saying, "Oh, it was the best trade." And kind of normally you get a little bit of hate, but everyone seemed to be on the same page, and the trade was the right thing to do to run with Justin Fields, etc. So yeah, man. Even though I don't follow it, it sucked to see all I shouldn't say my, but people of Chicago who I love dearly, very, very upset and, like you said, hearts ripped out and torn apart.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Oh well, listen, see what happens next week, right? You never know; it may just be a one-off. Hopefully, for your sake, if you're going to Florida.
Yeah, hopefully it was a lot of money.
Oh man. Rio, thank you so much for joining me, man. I'm conscious of your time. I know you've got a busy day ahead, but yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. I've enjoyed chatting to you, getting your knowledge of the game. Good luck for your season ahead. Hopefully you can
Thank
stay
you.
healthy, and your lungs are good to go again.
Yeah, right now they are. So just hoping that nothing else happens, like you said.
Yeah, man. Injuries are tough. I grew up playing football or soccer, if you like, not at a high level by any stretch of imagination, but yeah, I used to suffer with a lot of injuries, and they truly suck. Even at the lowest level, it just it sucks. So
Yeah.
yeah, good luck, man. Stay healthy. Yeah, enjoy it. Go smash it.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
Just give your handles a quick shout out before you go as well, in case anyone's not following you.
Um, God, I changed my name. Um, let me check it real quick because I don't wanna mess this up.
I've caught you off guard now.
Yeah, you did.
It'll be
Yeah,
on the
so
socials anyway.
okay. So yeah, my Twitter is Mario E Ramirez with 2 Z's. Um, and then I have an Instagram. I do photography actually. So I'm starting to get into basketball photography a lot.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, I enjoy that a lot because as a basketball player, I love pictures being taken of me. So I
Yeah,
know
of course.
how it feels for the other people. So yeah, I have the Instagram. It's real with the camera. So I started that, and I'm trying to grow that as much as I can. Hopefully one day I'll be on the sidelines of an NBA game shooting that.
Awesome. Ping me a message so I can follow that account on Instagram. I don't use Instagram a lot, but Yeah, I'd love to check that out, man. So ping me a
Okay.
message on Instagram so I can follow you. Have you met Joe Pincham before, who does a lot of the photos for Chicago Bulls?
I haven't, but I did follow him the other day.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's actually from England as well. He's a good dude. They're awesome, and Nico Tan as well, and all the guys over there do an incredible job.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, you should hook up with those guys. Maybe they could show you a few ropes.
Yeah, I followed him. Maybe I should send him a message.
Yeah, man, they're good people. They're out to help people as well. So yeah, if you let them know, I'm sure they'll offer you some advice and stuff if you need it. So
Yeah.
yeah, right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks to Rio. Good luck for the season ahead for yourself, and hopefully you can still follow as much of the Bulls as possible. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. We are going to do a couple of more episodes. I think one definitely before we end season 2, and then probably go straight into season 3. To be honest, I can't wait to get the season started. We are so close now, so close. So. Yeah, thank you for watching this. As I said, I've got an announcement. I'm going to do a new feature, which I'm hoping is going to be a success and get you guys involved. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, get involved, please. Otherwise, it will fail, and I don't want that. But yeah, we'll have another episode in the next 2 weeks, I believe. I've got another guest lined up, which I can't wait for. So yeah, until then, go Bulls.